everybody. How's it going? My name's Gigi. I'll be hosting this little shindig today. So I'm actually kind of lucky. This is my second Nickelodeon-based panel I've got to host this weekend, which is awesome because I'm sure everyone in this room was raised by Nickelodeon, right? So where are my old school Nickelodeon people? Where's just my Nick Jr. people? Right there. I mean, I'm talking, I go back to like, you can't do that on television and Hey Dude and stuff. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So Blue's Clues debuted in 1996. It's been almost 3 decades of entertaining families. Like probably a lot of people in this room have a unique perspective. I actually started watching it because I am a self-proclaimed giant toddler. I never stopped watching cartoons, even when I was in high school. And then, cartoons. And I transitioned into being a parent. I have a 23-year-old now, so we've done the entire gamut of Blue's Clues from start to finish. So this is pretty cool. So we're gonna go and bring everyone out. Everyone excited? I'm sorry, I asked. Are you guys excited? I asked. Okay, so first off, let's bring out the co-creators of Blue's Clues, shall we? That sound good? Is that okay with you guys? Okay. So we have Angel Santomero and Traci Paige Johnson, the co-creators of Blue's Clues, ladies and gentlemen.
Short.
So, and again, Blue's Clues has stretched over many years. So we all had our host. Who's a Steve person? Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Burns. Where's a Joe person? Joe people. Where's my Joe people? Donovan, Patton, everybody. Donovan, Patton. Come on out. Hey. How's it going? Hey. Joe. And who's left? Who's left? Josh. Who's the Josh people? Josh, Dela, Cruz, everybody. Hello, everybody. How are you? Not bad. Thanks for being here. So as I said, it's been almost 30 years since Blue's Clues debuted. I was telling them, I have a child in my 20s now, so in her 20s, not my 20s. I wish my 20s. So I've been watching it from high school all the way through, her growing up. Does it surprise you that, obviously as someone who created it and worked on it, you want it to last a song, but does it ever kind of hit you wow, it's actually still kind of going strong?
You know how many times we cried since we've been here? So many times. It's amazing. It really feels amazing.
Yeah. The turnout has been good. The lines down there have been insane to get at you guys. So let me ask you guys this. So, and again, as a parent and someone who watches a lot of TV and children's TV, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of children's shows can be quite horrible for parents to watch. So it's true, it happens. So what went into, how did you come up with the idea and the formula for Blue's Clues that it made it such an enduring show to not only children, but made it so I can watch Blue's Clues still to this day, and I'm in my 40s. How did that go? Did it evolve any which way? Did it start as it was, or?
It started from research, Angela's research with preschool kids, knowing that they talk to the camera, or they talk to the TV, talk back to the TV, right?
Yeah, it's that feeling that we've always want to be the star of our own show in that sense, right? I want to be on the couch for Central Perk for Friends, right? And so this is, we wanted a game show where kids had somebody, the trusted guide, that could really elicit that response back, and that you could feel seen, you could feel heard, and you could really believe in who you are and how smart you are. That was our goal for kids.
And we also knew we wanted to take away that pedanticness of kids' TV and create something that we love, that people really spoke to you, that it was different than anything else out there, very simple, exposing kids to real music, not, synthesized kid music, and then finding a real person who was not talking down to kids. So started with this guy, Steve, who could talk to you like he's really talking to you, right, and connecting with you.
Sup.
For sure. He said sup.
So Steve, so how was it starting the show for you? Because I mean, you've literally changed how an entire generation of human beings have pronounced like the word notebook and letter and things like that. Does that ever like settle in? Like, how big of a deal you were to people over the years?
I'm having a hard time understanding you. Seriously.
Oh, okay.
Like I
So,
can't.
I'm sorry, New England, we talk fast. So basically, you have, like, people still pronounce notebook and letter and things like that the way you did when they were kids, like your vernacular, and people have copied that over the years, and it's almost become, it's such a part of pop culture, like, you know, does that ever, like, how does that feel, like, all these years later where, you know, you are ingrained in so many people's childhood and you kind of, like, help raise a generation of people?
Well, the impact of Blue's Clues was sort of unknown to me. I intellectually understood that we were making a show that was very popular and that was in many countries throughout the world and was beating Sesame Street. Like, I understood these things, but I never internalized that. Never. I think maybe I was trying to push that away, you know, a little bit. But for me, Blue's Clues always felt so personal because, and very small, because it was me, my experience of the show, being the host of the show. It was in a blue void, right? It was a blue screen, it was a room without corners, so it felt like a void. And a camera. And that was it. You know, I could barely ever see the director because there were lights and stuff and they were like behind us. It was me and the camera was you, right? So it was like me and my ride or die. It was me and my homie. Like that was the show. And all the other characters and all that amazing stuff that Traci drew and imagineered, none of that was there. Right? And so my lived experience of Blue's Clues was small and intimate and just about me and this little camera. It just felt like a very personal experience. And so when we were on the cover of TV Guide and all these things were happening, it just didn't feel like my experience. And it wasn't until a couple years ago when I dropped that viral video where I was like, yo, what's up? How are you? The reaction to that, which took us all by crazy surprise, I was like, oh my God. I was like, whoa, no, really? That's when I kind of realized the impact that it had. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Thank you. So, Donovan, Josh, you guys, so as much as it must be nerve-wracking to start a new like children's IP and, you know, how was it to follow something that was already very popular and try to put your own spin on it, keep the machine going?
Well, thankfully, I didn't know a whole lot about the show when I was auditioning for it. I was an actor living in New York City, and I was up for Blue's Clues and Blair Witch 2 at the same time, right? And so, like, I was, you know, doing plays and things when I could, and so I just was a little bit removed from that. I was working at this Italian restaurant on the East Side, and so when we had a lot of auditions, like a whole bunch. When I finally got the job, I had a little bit of time with Steve before we actually started filming, and he helped me out, and he basically showed me the ropes, and he also like talked to me. He said, you know, they don't want me, the people that are watching. You know, you got to be you, and it sort of that gave me a little bit of a permission and the freedom to just do things like you know I had to keep the same world of the show, the same universe, because you are acting in that void, and anything that you do on set, it takes about a year and a half before all of the rest of the animation is done. So at that point, I've kind of forgotten whatever it was that I did, but there was that freedom to make it my own and have it happen my own way, and let Joe be different from what Steve was doing, like, you know, like
Taller.
I had no control over that.
We're actually the same height. He's just a really good actor.
Yeah.
Josh, how about you? How was it for you taking over?
You know, it's similar. I always thought the show was small in this way. That my memory of the show is watching it with my little sister, who's no longer my little sister, it's just my younger sister. But we would sit in my aunt's bedroom because her room was the only house that had cable. We didn't have cable at our place. And so whenever we would sleep over, we would wake up in the morning and we would watch. I remember the pink rug. I remember she had this brass bed frame, and we would just sit in front of the TV and watch Steve, and for hours. And it wasn't until my cousin was born, and my younger sister would watch Joe with her for hours.
They had it right.
That was my experience with the show. It was like, oh, it's a show for me, and that's how I always felt. And it wasn't until I got the audition for Blue's Clues. I was doing Aladdin on Broadway at the time. We were in the basement, and I got the email from my agents, and then I was like, oh, cool, they're bringing the show back. And I started working on the lines, and then it got around that I was auditioning for Blue's Clues, and all of a sudden, everyone in the basement started singing the male song. And this is spanning so many different generations of people, and that was the first time that I ever felt like, oh, wow, this is a huge show that so many people have such personal experiences with. And that's when I was like, oh, okay. Definitely a little bit nervous, especially when I got the job. I was like, all right, I understand the weight of the show. It's not just a show for me, it was a show for all of us. And Steve and Donovan pulled me aside and they said, I don't know if anyone told you this, but same exact thing. They cast you because of you. Don't ever feel like you have to replicate anything that we did. And that gave me the permission to just be me, And so that made life so easy.
That's awesome. So where did the Blues voice come from? Because I always kind of, I like the little noise she makes. It cracks me up still.
That came from doing the pilot. We didn't have a lot of money to do the pilot, and we knew Blue wasn't going to talk, so she was going to be, more like sound effects afterwards. So when we were in post-production, we just went around the room like, who can bark? And I could bark. Knowing that if we went to series, that we would hire a real voiceover person. But
She fell in love with her voice.
If you really go back, as I did when we were looking for Josh, and you go back and really look at Blue's Clues as an adult, she's doing all sorts of hilarious stuff. Barking, she's singing beautifully, she's harmonizing sophisticated harmonies, and she's repeating things. There's a lot of real kind of Scooby-Doo stuff that she's doing.
oh, you're so sweet. I think because we created her, we knew her best. So, bringing her to life was really easy and just, from the heart and very real. So one of my favorite memories is when we got picked up for series. And, I stepped out of the process because I didn't want to be a part of choosing myself or whatever. And they would go into rooms and listen to all other people audition. And Angela would just come out, nope, 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 nope. And now it's my favorite part of the job for sure.
That's awesome. Does everyone, so obviously, the stuff wasn't, none of the characters were actually there. As Steve said, it's all just a big blue room or green room or whatever, but does anyone have besides Blue, another favorite character? Because the designs were all so cute. Everyone was so awesome.
Easy, Mr. Salt.
Yeah, yeah, Mr. Salt.
Definitely Mr. Salt.
But number 2 is Side Table Drawer.
Oh.
Because she's so sweet and shy, and she's a drawer who's shy, so she just needs to open up.
And Side Table came across because of you guys, where at first Side Table just said, Blue's Clues, I'm so excited. And you were like, yeah, whatever. You didn't acknowledge her yet. And then I think we got fan mail that, we love, why doesn't Steve ever acknowledge Side Table Drawer? And then we wrote that in, and then she became the main
of the
character.
movie, yeah.
Star of the first movie we did.
She's insanely talented too. I mean, it's amazing.
I
Oh, my favorite? I mean, well, Mr. Salt for sure. But I get jealous of anybody who has either the secret arcane knowledge or the patience to do magic tricks. And so I enjoy Periwinkle for that reason.
Harry.
I like, I too love Side Table Drawer, the shaker, Mr. Salt, Mrs. Pepper, keeping it spicy. But personal favorite is Slippery Soap.
Hard to work with.
To work with.
I'm serious. I used to dread games with the bar of soap. Because the salt shaker's like, here, and he's like, hello, Steve, how's your day? And you're like, it's fine, Mr. Salt. Keep in mind, these things aren't there, right? So you're like, yeah, it's very easy to talk to the salt shaker. It's right there. Slippery's like this. Whoa, and you're like, I have to imagine all of this and sing a song about carrots right now. And that was the worst.
Oh my God, I never thought of that, but yes. Mine,
care.
besides blue, is magenta. Because making a show with your best friend is the best.
She was also because yeah, that's the real Steve. But she was also because of you guys as well. We just thought it was so fun and funny to have her be in that magenta color, and we had her in a game, and everyone freaked out. And we're like, we want
She
more
became
magenta.
collectible,
We
right?
want
It's
more
collectible.
magenta, and we're like, all right. Well, maybe kids really were. We were listening to kids. We were in schools with kids all the time, reading our scripts, so that we made sure that kids were smarter. You guys all, being smarter for watching. And so we got firsthand of, please, more magenta, please, trying to figure out some of those storylines. So really fun.
I remember trying to track, I think it was like a bounce and dance magenta for Christmas that first year. So it was a nightmare. So thank you, eBay. Okay, so I see a ton of green striped shirts and people out there. So people have to have questions that have been building up for years. Who's got a question for the gang here? Go ahead and hop on a mic. Or, you're right there. You can... I'll come down to you. How's that? We do things full service here.
We're having trouble. First off, I just want to say thank you for making my childhood amazing. I've been there for 28 years, and I'm always going to be there. Seeing how Steve and everyone have done the blue screen, I'm taking improv classes, and that's kind of helping me see my environment, working with stuff that's not there. So that's a big inspiration. My question for everyone, what were your favorite songs from Blue's Clues?
Oh, I got one. I really love the Color song. It's a beautiful song and also very trippy. And so that I always thought that was quite funny, but I think it's just such a beautiful, relaxing song. And the first time that I learned, I didn't know what chartreuse actually looked like until I had to learn the song for the show. And I was like, oh, I had a completely different color in mind. So thank you.
I also like the Color song. It's a good one. I think that one's the best I've ever sounded on a song when I sang it. And I used to sing I really liked how the So Long song, the Steve version, it's just such like a real easygoing thing. And then they changed it for me, and I kept making this request. So I say bye bye, see you later, sweet potato. And I was like, can we change the little lyric every time? Maybe just because I really wanted to say, see you later, Darth Vader. And I think for legal purposes, they had to say no to that.
It's also you just don't want him involved.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no. Yeah, alligator, percolator. I don't know. Yeah.
I think it's kind of hard to beat the male song. That's just an insane thing. It's just so raucous and crazy and ridiculous. But a specialty song that's not in every episode, I like the Planet song a lot. It's really cool.
Blues favorite is definitely, we just figured out Blues Clues. But personally, we were just reminiscing about, I don't know if everyone saw the Josh episode where the thinking chair was missing and it was Joe. And they have a song at the end, I missed you guys. And it was just like the three brothers getting together. I love that.
Cheesy Pizza was good too.
Cheesy Pizza's a good one.
Cheesy Pizza was,
And a personal favorite because I love cheesy pizza.
Yeah, he does look.
he does.
There's an extended version of Steve's Got a Silly Hat.
Good call, Angela. That's
one-
maybe the best.
That one is
That they
the
ever
best
wrote.
song. And you can hear Steve laughing for real that we left in. And it was just to watch you sing it with
While sadly walking
Mr.
down the
Salt.
street one day.
Yeah, that's just a trippy song, man.
I love that song.
Because what it was, the guy who played Mailbox and the guy who played Mr. Salt were the musicians of the show, and they were geniuses. And it was just a little moment in a show, right? Whereas like I had a silly hat, and I don't even know if it was an
Steve's
improv.
got,
Little
I've
bitty-
got
It
a
was just like, I was like,
silly
Steve's
hat.
got a silly hat, yeah. And that was it. And then they were like, this must be a 10-minute song.
Exactly.
And they wrote a song like, while slowly walking through a park one day, Steve met a goat. Who stopped to say, and it was like this whole like, let me take you on a journey, young man, about strange hats and the hats in the world.
It's our all too well 10-minute version, I think.
It's really weird and great. That's a good one.
Really fun.
The best part is on the Blues Big Musical soundtrack.
Yeah, there's good ones.
There's a hidden track at the very end. After the So Long song, there's a few seconds of silence. Then they play the music from Periwinkle's Magic Show, which is amazing. All the background
right, 'cause
music.
he does the show, yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. And then right after that, you can hear Steve, Nick Balaban, Mr. Saul, and Michael Rubin, Mailbox, laughing from the Silly Hat song.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you. Those
Thank
are great
you.
questions.
You're welcome. I love you guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Love
you.
you.
Love you
Bye-bye.
too.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi.
So I have a quick question. So actors and actresses that are on a set with people and objects usually take one thing that reminds them of the show or movie, such as the friend's couch. Do you guys have anything that maybe somebody gave you, like a statue of Mr. Salt?
We stole so much.
We never,
yeah,
with the
when we
cameras
say
on,
we-
we never stole anything. Maybe Steve, but I never took anything. There is no notebook in my basement. There is no thinking chair there either. What would you have taken if you were given permission?
Given permission. That camera is pretty sweet.
They gave me, this is the most precious things. For my 25th birthday, they gave me the original thinking chair. It sits in my house right now. It holds my dirty laundry. It's awesome. But the best thing I think that they gave me was the original notebook. And it had the first 3 clues in it. And like handwritten notes from everybody that worked there. And the animators drew these beautiful little things. And then I straight up stole, like 5 shirts.
I have your suitcase when you went to college.
Oh, you do?
Downstairs, I do.
Wow, it feels like I should have that.
I know. It's yours.
I have Josh's bunny slippers too.
Oh, you have
I
them.
do.
I have
And
the pajamas, and I was like, where are the slippers at?
I also, of course, have a thinking
I wanted
chair.
my pajamas. Yeah, I got the smoking jacket. There's like the 100th episode
100th
is a jacket
episode,
made out of the
smoking
material from the thinking chair. That's the one thing I actually
Easily
still
the
have.
coolest garment that was ever on Blues Clues.
It was cool.
He looks great on Dono too. He looks so like Rat Pack in it.
It came with a martini, which was weird.
It's a new character, Martini.
Glug, 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 glug. Oh, sorry, it's constantly spilling on people. Oh, I'm sorry, I'll clean that up.
Hey guys!
Sure, you got a question?
Yeah. Hey guys. So I could just stand here and talk about how you guys made my childhood, but I know a million people have done that. You guys had a big impact on me as well. My question is that, Steve, I know, if I'm correct, you started a band after you left Blue's Clues, but for the character Steve, when he went to college, did you envision him like, or I guess like if he chose a major, the character Steve, would it have been music or would it have been something else?
No.
Okay.
What's your name?
Andrew.
Andrew, hi. I love the idea that Steve went to college and immediately was like studying criminal justice. and forensics.
Yeah.
Right? And this is a pitch that I have had forever, which is we should have done that. We should have done flashback with me this age, in a bad wig, like in college, like Will Ferrell style. Like this is what happened when I went to college. And then Steve graduates and becomes the world's crappiest detective. Like he's Columbo. He's like Grover meets Columbo. And he's useless. So he's always asking for your help. Right? He still needs your help to like solve actual crimes. It would be hilarious. And there wouldn't be blue or like animation except for Mr. Salt.
I can imagine Steve arresting Swiper from Dora the Explorer.
Totally. And like, imagine the scene, right? Like where, and the other thing is that, you know, because you need like a partner, and that's always Joe. So we're like Starsky and Hutch doing bad slides over cars and stuff. And then we're in the back of a surveillance van, and I got the headphones on. And I'm like, Mr. Salt, you gotta get closer. And then you cut, and he's like on a table, like at a diner where the two bad guys are talking, and he's like, if I move, they will see me. And we're like, you gotta get closer. Like, they're going to shake me. I know, Steve, they're going to shake me. I'm like, be so funny. Why didn't that happen?
It still can.
Still can happen.
Thank you guys, and I hope you pitched that idea to Nick at night.
Thank you, Andrew.
That might have been the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life, by the way. That was
Good pitch.
even better. Do it like noir style, like the voiceover and stuff like that. That'd just be killer. You have a question?
Hi, my name is Laura Atkinson. I am going to talk about how Steve helped my childhood for a second. First off, though, Donovan or Josh, who said the thing about Blair Witch 2?
I did.
I wrote it down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, Steve Burns and Steve, you were my childhood. I am an assistant teacher. It was you, Allison Court, and Lily Tomlin as Miss Frizzle, because I'm basically spooky Miss Frizzle, where I am. And I just wanted to say thank you for my childhood. Joe, A.K. Donovan, and Josh, you were amazing on Broadway. I saw clips of you.
Oh, thank you.
We're good, and I love you guys, and thank you for being part of my childhood, Steve.
Thank you for going into education.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think in some ways that's the highest compliment of the show, I would imagine, because that was the passion of the show, and I think it's wonderful. You're a hero. Thank you.
Thank you. And I have a tattoo, and I think that's awesome that you had a tattoo while you were on the show and had it covered up, and I could wear it as a teacher. So.
Did I have a tattoo when I was on the show?
He has a face tattoo that people don't really know
Oh,
about.
or you weren't to seeing an emo, so that's awesome.
Yes.
That's inspiration. Thank you so much.
So a little tidbit about Allison Court. She is the voice director for Blue's Clues and You. So if you don't know who she is, she was on a show called Big Comfy Couch, which was another huge children's television show. She was also the voice of Jubilee in X-Men. And so when we filmed Blue's Clues and You, we filmed my stuff in the same studio that she filmed her stuff. and she is now also voice directing and directing episodes on Blue's Clues and You. So it's just one big comfy
Another
couch family.
Cool fact about Allison Court, not my wife. That was a rumor that went around for a long time. People still say that. It's not true.
But another, just in the vein of like TV shows that should be, she should be a judge, and it should be Allison Court.
Cannot stop yourself.
Can't.
How many like teachers and early childhood education people do you think you guys have helped kind of like steer that way? I don't want to say spawned or created, but like there's probably a stable of current teachers and childcare workers and things like that that are into that because of the show.
If you told me, I'd probably start to cry.
I'll find some statistics. I'll Google it.
I hear it all the time at the table, you know, and I
same.
always think like, there you go.
See? Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you all for doing the real work. That's amazing.
Absolutely. You know, and I'm not a child development specialist or an educator. I'm an actor who became an accidental educator. But I was always so proud. I always tell people, I don't know if this is true or not, but I always say we are the most demonstrably educational, potent educational entertainment platform that ever existed. Like you can test kids on what we did in our weird episode of Blue's Clues. And it's not like that on other shows. It's not. You know, other shows could be like, do a thing, do another thing. You know what I mean? And that's really great and interactive, but they're not getting the curriculum that Blue's Clues was able to deliver.
Yay, Angela! Applaud for Angela! Woo!
To geek out for a second, but we did do longitudinal studies that proved statistically significantly that kids scored higher, the kids who watched Blue's Clues statistically significantly higher on all of those standardized tests. So the idea that you were practicing, because of that interactivity and because Steve and Josh and Joe were listening to you, because of that, you're practicing the skills. And so those skills led to mastery of a lot of those kindergarten readiness skills. So anyway, I'm very proud of that too. I think we all are.
You sure are smart.
Jack Traci, how many other people in the room are teachers or work with kids or education of some type?
Wow, really? For real?
That's
awesome.
amazing.
Huge deal. My buddy's a teacher, and then one of the teachers in the room next to him keeps a giant crayon in her cup still all the time. Yeah. So.
Hello, it is nice to meet you guys. My name is Jerry. I want to say to you guys that you got during my childhood you got me through some rough times. I used to be in foster care, so I used to watch a show all the time during that time. And in 2021, I was diagnosed with stage 2 lymphoma, and I can say as of 3 years later, I am in remission.
Work.
Thank you. My question is for everyone: What was your favorite episode in Blue's Clues that you guys did?
Snack time. Snack time. I liked it so much we did it twice. Yeah.
Thinking Squad, where we had to, you had to figure out what was making the loud noise, and it was the washing machine. Yeah.
Really?
I love that one.
From my era, I don't think I have one because it's such Groundhog Day and it's all on a blue screen. It's all the same episode in my brain. But I have favorite moments. Like I really liked being in outer space a lot. But in hindsight now, my favorite episode was one of the last ones we ever did, where the three of us. There was like a mystery and like, you know, where did the case of the missing thinking chair and like where did it go? And I got to be Detective Steve and Josh choreographed a dance for us. And I just thought it was really tight, you know. But I guess of the my era ones, it would be one of the first season ones, maybe the one the Big Bad Wolf kind of thing.
Okay.
Story time, probably that.
There was one where I think it was Joe's Clues where I got to sing a song as Little Red Riding Hood and a duck. which was very silly.
That was a good one.
And it was a lot of fun. I had these big duck feet that were swim fins painted orange, and I had to like try to run off camera as quickly as possible, and I basically almost took out a light, and consequently myself and a few crew members. Like, but it was good. It's like I just loved like flopping around like I'm the duck. I don't know. I enjoyed that a lot.
Any episode where all three of us are in the same episode together are my favorite.
Hear, hear.
Especially, most recently the Mystery of the Missing Thinking Chair, because we laughed so much. We laughed a ton.
So well written, too.
There's a joyous surprise. It was well written. It was written by.
It was a little clunky.
I was
The
like,
plot
who
was a
wrote
little
that?
clunky. There were some holes.
We got there. After some time.
Donovan and I worked with the writer,
We workshopped a little
we
bit.
found
Yeah,
some place that was
we got
acceptable.
there. Steve wrote that one.
He wrote it.
All right, yep, thank you guys.
What's your name?
Hi, I'm Tam Canella, and you guys were my childhood. I've watched you from 97 to 2005, 2006, and I actually dressed up as Blue in 2002. And I had the notebook, I had the crayon, and I went around my basement trying to find clues. My brother thought I was out of my mind, but basically, I know how to do Blue's voice.
Let's hear it. Very good. Very good.
Do you guys still have the duck?
No, I don't know. I don't know where
I have the duck.
You still
I have Boris.
duck napper.
I'll give that one to you
No,
too.
that's okay.
Sorry.
That's a gigantic duck. Like I don't know, room for that duck.
He's in a big bin with, I think I might actually have Horace too.
But my question for you guys is, what was it like filming with the characters that weren't there, and what was it like when Paprika came into the show?
You want to talk about a toxic personality? I'll say it. I don't care.
Wait, she's not here, is she?
She's not here.
Okay.
Turn the cameras off, please. No, it was fun. Like I think we have scene partners, we have readers. Mine was her name is Ashley Kranz, and she is my scene partner off camera, and she does every single voice for every single character before the voice actor gets in the booth. And so all of my timing comes from the play that we have, and then that amazing scene partner paired with like our use of imagination and with the help of the technical directors. I had a lot of people that weren't on set when they were on set. Telling me like, oh no, you need to redo that eye line was wrong. So I had a much easier time, but there was a whole village helping create that, plus our imagination. But that's what I found helpful. How about you guys?
Well, I mean, what? No, I mean, it takes a ton of people to make the show. Like, yeah, it's like, I don't know. What was it like when Paprika arrived, though?
Yeah.
I don't. Well, to me, in some senses, like what I like about the show is we're kind of like a family. And when I came about like doing the show, like my experience, Paprika was already there, so I can't really speak to like when she arrived. But when I showed up, it was really truly like being part of a family. And I had to get up to speed because everybody else really knew what they were doing. And I love working with these guys. So when Paprika arrived, there is like a generational element, and I think it just reflects the parts of actual families that are the different dynamics and stuff like that. There's a real younger brother energy and like younger brother energy type stuff.
Actually, I think it's all coming back to me. I think.
Here we go.
Pregnant. That's when we started writing it.
Oh, really?
But then I do think it was something like, oh, wouldn't it be cute if Salt and Pepper had a baby Paprika? and I think it was firstly written in the script that she was just there, and they were holding her, and they were like, wait a minute, no, we can use this opportunity for a teachable moment in preschoolers' lives, because a lot of, preschoolers get siblings. So then we milked it into a whole episode.
Right, we were doing a table read and Steve goes, oh, this is a really big deal.
Right, right.
So we made it its own episode, but we totally did. We wrote it from our experiences. We were literally pregnant. We ended up being pregnant at the same time, and that was the time that we started writing about Mr. Salt and Mrs. Pepper having paprika, and then having cinnamon. And then, of course, I love their later in life twins, Ginger and Sage.
I didn't get pregnant until the next. Looking at the objects on the blue screen that aren't there and stuff like that, half of it is so much simpler than you think it is, like really simple, and half of it is the most tedious, impossible thing you could ever possibly imagine. So some of it's easy, and some of it's really hard. I would always say when I would go home, my imagination is tired. Because you have to imagine so hard. And by the time I left Blue's Clues, that was one of the things that was going, was the imagination muscle. I'd been imagining these things too much. So it was challenging, for sure.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I found that after my first season, after filming, and after an entire day of filming, I would go home and there would be no music on, there would be nothing. It would just be pretty much just silence, and I'd just go about the rest of my evening in silence.
Hard for everybody, not just for the actors, too. Hard for the directors, hard for everyone conceiving of what the show's going to look like in 5 months. Hard to write, hard to get ready in pre-production. It makes everything tricky.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, we got time for one more question, and I can't say no to a grown man with a puppet, so.
Hi, Angela. Hi, Traci. My name is Daniel. You two were pregnant at the same time. If I didn't know you two were people, I would have thought you two were lions. My question is, who came up with the idea for the neighborhood festival, the tribute to Mr. Rogers?
Anything Mr. Rogers always comes from this lady right here.
Mr. Rogers was my version of Blue's Clues. I was that 4-year-old that couldn't sit any closer to the TV when he was on and talked to him. So definitely a huge shout out always to his team and to him. And my favorite thing was when I got to meet him and he saw all the child development theory within the show and said that he doesn't love much of what is on TV for kids, but he loved Blue's Clues.
Yay, Mr. Rogers.
That's it.
Boom.
That guy should be on our money.
Totally agree.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, guys.
So, thank you so much for coming out and doing this afternoon. This is great. Thank you for coming out to the conventions weekend. Thank you everyone for attending the panel. Let's give it one more time for the people who brought us the only blue-based K-9 children's show that matters.
Thank you so much.